We begin this morning with author Ruchira Gupta. She's the author of the book, I Kick and I Fly. It's our pleasure to welcome Ruchira to Sunday Morning Magazine. Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. Looking forward to talk about I Kick and I Fly with you.
All right. Me too. Now, you are the founder of an anti-sex trafficking organization. How did you get your start in the anti-trafficking movement? And tell us about your work.
My anti-sex trafficking organization is called Apne Aap. It works inside red light areas in India and New York, where we get daughters of prostituted women into schools and use education as a way to prevent their trafficking. It all began when I was walking in the hills of Nepal about 2 decades ago, and I came across rows of villages with missing girls. And I asked the men who were drinking tea and playing cards where the girls were, and they said they all are in Bombay. I followed the trail and I found that human trafficking existed in my generation, my lifetime, my world.
So from there, I understand you were empowered to do something about it. Tell us what you did.
I ended up making a documentary called The Selling of Innocence, based out of the brothels of Bombay and the villages in India. And what I saw there was little girls between the ages of 9 and 13 locked up in small rooms and raped by 8 or 10 men every night. And these girls were from isolated farming villages in the hamlets of the Himalayas, who were brought by very cruel and greedy traffickers. So I made the documentary and I won an Emmy for Outstanding Investigative Journalism for it. But when I was in New York and looking at all the bright lights, I thought, I don't want to use the Emmy to make another documentary and build a career. I want to use the Emmy to make a difference. So with the Emmy, I went to the United Nations and I went to the U.S. Congress, and I showed my documentary to both those places for changes in law, and I succeeded. So today we have the Trafficking Victim Protection Act as the U.S. law on trafficking and the UN Protocol to End Trafficking in Persons as the UN law. I also went back to the women who had told me their stories in my documentary and started my NGO called Apne Aap with them. They had 4 requests at that time, 4 dreams as they call them. They said they wanted a school for their children, a room of their own, a job in an office, and punishment of those who had bought them and sold them. That was the business plan of my NGO Apne Aap. And today, nearly 20 years later, I can report that we did get the children into school and they are now college graduates. Many have jobs, others are still studying, and we did fulfill that dream of the women. I can also report that we connected the women into small circles of 10 friendship circles, and together we advocated for access to low-cost housing, low-cost food, and even government IDs, because many of the women were undocumented, and we succeeded. So that became the way for them to exit out of prostitution because they had some kind of social net, food and housing to get out. Okay. And then we also managed to file cases against traffickers. So today in the red light areas where I work in India, the traffickers are in jail, the children in school, and women have other homes and businesses which are not brothels. Okay. And, that's the story of Apne Aap.
And again, in case you're just tuning in, you're listening to Sunday Morning Magazine. I'm Rodney Lear. More information about the show can be found on social media, Instagram and Twitter at Rodney Lear on air. On the phone with me now is Ruchira Gupta. She is the author of the book, I Kick and I Fly. Now, tell us about the new book, I Kick and I Fly. It's your debut novel. Tell us about the book.
I Kick and I Fly is based on the true lives of girls in my NGO, Apne Aap. So I started writing. I Kick and I Fly is about a 14-year-old girl who's about to be sold into prostitution when a women's rights advocate enrolls her in a kung fu program. Through the practice of kung fu, Hira, the girl, becomes powerful. She discovers the power of her body and learns to fight for it. And when she wins a gold medal, then everything in the community begins to change. Her family begins to respect her. Her community begins to hope. And even the villagers who stigmatized her and her community begin to look at her with pride. So, and it's a true story. It really happened in my NGO. I began writing I Kick and I Fly when a real girl like Hira won a gold medal in karate. So, when I realized through the work that I've been doing for these 20 years against sex trafficking, that human trafficking is a big, big problem. According to the United Nations, it's the second largest organized crime in the world. In the world, at any given moment, there are more than 25 million victims of human trafficking, and most of them are women and children. In the United States, statistics say that there are between 100,000 to 300,000 people trapped in situations of slavery or slavery-like conditions who are victims of human trafficking right here. And do you know the average age of a girl being trafficked in the U.S. is between 9 and 13? So I thought, I have to share this story of hope and triumph of a girl standing up to human trafficking and winning with the world. And therefore, I went to Scholastic, and they were bold enough to take on this subject for young readers and publish it. And that's how you have the book in your hand today.
So what is it that you're hoping this book will do for young people and maybe educators alike?
I think they shared my hope that if I share a story based on truth with young people, they will connect and they will be able to find some answers to things they have to face in their lives, but no one talks to them about. So really, my hope for I Kick and I Fly is that it flies into every classroom, into every library. Young people can read it and learn from it, be inspired by it, and find some answers to challenges in their own lives. And, I also think parents and teachers will find lots of clues in this. And, Scholastic has created a reader's guide for them to be able to talk to young people about this subject. And I think you must have known that Center for Disease Control brought out a youth risk survey in which they said that most teenagers are reporting being unhappy, they are suicidal, and the root causes are body shaming, bullying, and teen mental health is a big issue, and of course sexual abuse. But, we don't have any tools to talk to them about all these issues. So I think I Kick and I Fly come out at the right moment for us to get it to teenagers who will know they are not alone, so they won't feel isolated. And, they will have communication tools and warnings about what can happen, about sexual abuse, about trafficking, about body shaming and bullying, all the issues that I talk about in I Kick and I Fly. A girl can stand up to injustice and win. And that's what I want young people to know.
And again, this morning, in case you're just tuning in, we're speaking to author Ruchira Gupta. The title of the book is I Kick and I Fly. Now, most people may be listening this morning and thinking that sex trafficking is a whole third world country issue, but it happens right here in the United States. Is that right?
That's right. It's a big problem in the U.S. As I said, more than 100,000 at the very least, and up to 300,000 people are victims of human trafficking in the U.S. And the average age of a girl being sex trafficked in the U.S. is between 9 and 13. And it's an issue in plain sight. We know that we see shivering girls at street corners, and we sort of turn away because we really don't know what to do about it. But my book, I Kick and I Fly, shows how a community can come together and bring about change. And, we can really create a world in which no child is bought or sold, especially here in the United States, where we have the infrastructure. It doesn't have to be like this here.
Now, the book has received praise from people like Ashley Judd, Gloria Steinem, Alice Walker. What does that mean to you?
It means that the people I look up to, who are storytellers in their own way and fierce activists, like my work, and I have their support. And this is exactly what I'm trying to do through I Kick and I Fly, is pass on the baton to the next generation so they too can join the movement against sex trafficking. Because it's a true evil, and just like slavery and just like monarchy, we got rid of those things, those structures, and I think we can get rid of this structure of human trafficking. So when Gloria Steinem says this book could save lives, or when Alice Walker says that this is going to further the cause of liberating women, or Ashley Judd says that it is essential reading, I know it's true because these are leaders in our world who speak truths to power. And that's what I Kick and I Fly is trying to do. And I'm so grateful to Scholastic for taking this leap of faith with me.
All right. Well, we're out of time this morning. If our listeners would like to find out more about the book, how can they find out more?
They can go to 3 websites, ikickandifly.com. It has resources, calls to action, and much more. We are building a community out there. You can go to my website if you want to learn about me, ruchiragupta.com. If you want to volunteer and donate to my cause, you can go to the NGO website, apneaap.org. And you can most importantly buy the book and share the book. It's available on Amazon and in every bookstore near you. I Kick and I Fly is out in bookstores today.
All right. Thank you so much. You have a great day. Thanks for taking time to talk to us.
Thank you so much.